everybody, I'm Jonathan Randall, and welcome to another episode of How You Like Me Now. 2023 is coming to an end, and the holiday season is in full swing. I asked Santa to free Palestine for Christmas and was asked to leave the mall. In Bethlehem, where your boy Jesus was born, they have canceled Christmas celebrations in solidarity with the people of Gaza. After all, it's really hard to be in the festive spirit when children are being killed by the thousands, and it's not because they were naughty, it's because they were Palestinian. Besides, there's absolutely no way Santa's sleigh wouldn't get shot down by the Israeli military. They would kill the elves and Rudolph and then say Hamas was using them as human shields. The thousands of images of children being pulled out of the rubble in Gaza has led the Evangelical Lutheran Christmas Church to place baby Jesus in a pile of debris. That's right, this year, even baby Jesus has died for Hamas's sins. I'm all for canceling Christmas, but it's easy for me because I'm Jewish and I never really celebrate it. I have seen a ton of Christmas movies and TV shows, and a common theme is always helping those less fortunate. And I think we could all agree the Palestinian people, certainly the ones in Gaza, are less fortunate and could definitely use our help this Christmas. It's like Israel is Scrooge, and it desperately needs a visit from the ghost of Christmas past so it'll remember what it was like to be dehumanized and oppressed. Even after killing 3 shirtless Israeli hostages waving a white flag with SOS on it, Israel has the audacity to say it doesn't target civilians. Israel has killed over 95 journalists, 20,000 people in Gaza, 70% of which are women and children, 301 people in the West Bank, including 63 children, and that's just since October 7th. So if Israel really doesn't target civilians, that means that the Israeli military just really fucking sucks at its job. The actions of Yemen's Houthis in support of the Palestinian people are having some of the biggest impact on Israel and global trade. At least 12 commercial and merchant vessels in the Red Sea have been targeted, affecting at least 44 countries. 4 of the world's top 5 major shipping firms announced they would pause shipping through the Red Sea because of the Houthi attacks. And so will British oil company BP, which caused oil and gas prices to surge. The Houthis said they will stop targeting ships when Israel allows food and medicine into Gaza. There have been no casualties in their attacks, and they have almost completely shut down commercial shipping to the port of Eilat. Now, commercial ships coming from Asia to Israel, and even ones not going to Israel, are forced to go around Africa, extending the trip 3 weeks and increasing expenses. Insurance costs alone for Israeli commercial ships traveling through the Red Sea have increased as much as 250%. Way to go, Houthis. In response to this, the U.S. announced a new maritime protection force. Operation Prosperity Guardian is a multinational naval force that will be deployed in the Red Sea to prevent the Houthis from disrupting international shipping routes. The coalition will be led by the U.S. and consists of 9 other countries. The Houthis said that they are not deterred at all by the announcement and will continue to attack ships in the Red Sea corridor. They said they will continue doing so, and I quote, even if America succeeds in mobilizing the entire world. Enough already about how Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East. I think a key factor of a democracy is equality. In Israel, your rights are dependent on your ethnicity, not on being a citizen. The right of return is just one right that Jewish Israelis have that Arab Israelis don't. And Palestinians living in the West Bank under Israeli occupation have practically no rights, which is why many human rights organizations consider Israel more an apartheid state than a democratic one. Democracies have freedom of press, yet over 95 journalists have been killed in Gaza. Democracies have freedom of speech, yet you can get arrested, fired, and kicked out of school in Israel for just posting a Palestinian flag emoji. Israel may be the most democratic state in the Middle East, but that doesn't mean it's actually a democratic one. Israel can claim that giving people the right to vote and to be elected makes it a democracy, but by favoring one ethnicity and discriminating the other, it doesn't have the true spirit of a democracy. It's way past time we make the distinction between being the most democratic country in the Middle East and actually being a democratic one. Last week, 14 Western nations and members of the European Union urged Israel to stop violent extremist settlers in the West Bank. Since October 7th, Israeli settlers have killed at least 8 Palestinians and wounded 83. These types of attacks on Palestinians are common in the West Bank and have been for decades. They not only take Palestinian land, but their lives too. Israel's settlement policy is illegal under international law, but Israel doesn't care. Since October 7th, over 1,000 Palestinians have been driven from their homes across 15 West Bank communities because of Israeli settlers. Hamas is in Gaza, not the West Bank. And these settlers aren't part of the Israeli government. They are extremists obsessed with driving Palestinians from their land. If they were Arab, the whole world would be calling them terrorists and asking you to condemn them at the beginning of every conversation. They go to Palestinian villages and tell the people that if they don't leave, they will come at night and shoot them all. And they aren't bluffing. Gangs of settlers regularly harass and beat up Palestinians in an effort to drive them from their land. Once they leave, the villages are often bulldozed and burned to the ground. Not only are settlers rarely prosecuted for their crimes, but the Israeli security forces often support them. These settlers continue to go unchecked while people want to scream about Hamas. We are way past urging or restricting visas. We need to take action like ending all financial support to Israel until concrete steps are made to stop and prosecute these violent Israeli terrorists. If you're not following me on social media, please do, at Jonathan Randall across all platforms. I would really appreciate your support on Ko-fi. I will put the link to my profile in the description. I've been talking to so many different Jewish people about Israel, and I found that there are so many of them that just don't want to hear it. Yeah, ignorance is Zionist bliss. The bombs are dropping, killing kids. Israel has been helping fund Hamas. It's killing its own people. 75 years of violent dispossession, and they just want to be like, I'm Israel Chai, I'm Israel Chai, I'm Israel Chai. But ignoring Israel's ongoing violations of Palestinian human rights and what's happening in Gaza isn't going to help Israel or the Jewish people. Israel may be killing thousands and thousands of Palestinians, but it's digging its own grave. Israel will never be safe through the oppression and dehumanization of the Palestinian people. The dream of Israel can never be a reality through Palestinian bloodshed. I see so many of my fellow Jews expressing the sentiment of standing with Israel. But if they really love Israel and value Judaism at all, then they should be standing up to Israel. It doesn't need your blind support, but it's in desperate need of your intervention. I'm Jonathan Randall. How you like me now?